the internet. You know it and you love it. Well, sometimes at least. I'm gonna take a fair guess and say that you know what the internet is. I mean, you're on it right now, so you know at least a bit. But how much do you know? The internet is so much more than just the World Wide Web. And this iceberg, even though it's 35 pages long, still can't skim the majority of things that has happened and is happening on this place. The creator of this iceberg, you/TheBestYTPer, well, we'll see about that one, has done a fantastic job of finding as much trivia about the internet as possible. He actually found more than people usually do when it comes to icebergs, so this one is a bit longer than normal. So I'm gonna try not to spend too much time on it. I don't want you to get lost in the rabbit hole. So without further ado, let's dig down. YouTube. Hey, you. Come over here. Have you heard of this place called YouTube? Okay, this is one we all know. YouTube is literally the most visited site on the whole internet. Even my grandpa know what it is, which means it's pretty surface level. YouTube truly is a defining feature of the internet. For some people it is the internet. For some it's a career, for some it's a pastime, for some it's music. YouTube can be everything you want it to be. It truly captures the soul and the mind of the internet. Netflix. Netflix is a popular streaming service where you can watch endless amounts of movies, both documentaries, Hollywood made, their own made, and series. Oh god, this series. It's a good way to invest your time into something while you have nothing else to do. Because why go to the movies for $20 when that can buy an unlimited amount of movies at home for a whole month? Wikipedia. Wikipedia is a free encyclopedia filled with all the world's knowledge and thoughts that can be found in most languages. Wikipedia is a perfect example of the good thought behind the internet. Endless knowledge right at your fingertips. Now, quickly, think of something, anything at all. Now, quickly, go to Wikipedia and see if you can find an article about it, because you most likely can. Some people say that it's too good to be true, and letting literally anyone write anything and say that it's fact is a bad idea. And that's teachers who say that. And even though there are people who are making raids and people who are making misleading information, this is not only a rare occurrence on a large scale, but we have to remember that Wikipedia is guarded by an army of nerds. And that's not me making fun of them, this is me praising these valuable people. They know a whole lot about a certain subject, and they look over the articles to make sure that they are correct, so people get the knowledge they need. I salute you fine people. PewDiePie. Felix Arvid Ulf Kjellberg, also known as PewDiePie, can be described as the king of YouTube. With an astonishing 108 million subscribers, he is the largest content creator on the site. Felix has captured the hearts of many with 10 years of content. From barrels and amnesia to memes and awards, he has crossed many bridges, like a true soldier. He has gone a long way with thousands of videos. He is so well known, I don't even need to introduce him anymore because you already know who he is. Creepypasta. Creepypasta is a combination of the phrases creepy or creepy content and copy paste. Creepypastas are more or less internet ghost stories which are spread around the internet. There are countless of them, all from well-known legends to lonesome tales, psychological horror to existential horror, well-written stories to kids trying to be edgy. There's a lot of those, actually. Creepypastas has stood the test of time and has become the most known horror genre on the web. It has its own website filled with creepy stories and tales, so if you ever need a ghost story, you know where to find one. Facebook. The social media you have to have for some reason. Facebook is one of the biggest social media groups on the internet, and it is here you can find most people. There are others like Instagram or Snapchat, or do even dare say MySpace, but for some reason Facebook has a whole different following. It is here you can find even your grandpa. These are 3 things your grandpa can do: solitaire, Facebook, and deer hunting videos on YouTube. Slenderman. You remember those creepypastas we were just talking about? Well, this is the creepypasta in a way. Slenderman has a long and proud story which could cover an entire video for itself, and we all know at least some of the stories behind them. Slender Man might have started off as nothing more than an image, but he has gone through a lot. We have all seen the Let's Players poop their pants, or even done ourselves, and we have all heard the stories about him, or at least some variations of it. But even though it's at the top of the list, there is still a lot to cover. Like for example the kid who got stabbed to death in a forest in the hope of appeasing Slender Man. It is safe to say that the golden days of Slender Man is over, but there's still a lot to remember. Jeff the Killer. So now that we are on the topic of creepypasta legends, Jeff the Killer is gonna fit right in. Jeff the Killer was another creepypasta story which might never reach the same fame as Slender Man, but certainly had his moment in the spotlight. It's a classic story of a kid who went mad and stabbed some people, I guess, but the story might not be the important part. This image is probably the image which everyone associates with him. This picture of inhumane white skin, long greasy hair, bloody red lips, and those inhumane eyes. And for some reason no nose. Even though he had been absorbed into that weird half-cube, half-psycho fandom, he still is another honorary internet legend. Minecraft. Now this is what video games are supposed to be. You've played it since you were a kid, and a lot of people still play today. Whether that be multiplayer minigames, your own creative project, or just that time you've spent playing with the boys. Or by yourself, that's also fun. Minecraft is a game to remember. It is a game that has rocked the internet, with countless of let's plays, media popularity, and even its own creepypasta. Even though it might have its ups and downs, the title of most played game in the world is truly expected of this game. Twitter. Hey, you. I like politics? Only a bit? Well, too bad. Time to get the stuff in your face. That's how it feels on Twitter nowadays. And it's never normal politics. It's always the weird revolutionary fake news kind of people. Twitter is a popular social media site where you do as we always do. Post videos, take pictures, have a chat with a friend. But Twitter's gone down an unexpected path. The ways of politics. With countless politicians using the site, it's become a hotbed for people to spread their political views. And as you all know, except for Twitter for some reason, all politics are the same in the fact they are both right and wrong. But not on Twitter for some reason. If people disagree with you, which will happen, you will get raided, cancelled, or banned. I can't believe this. Banned the most powerful man on Earth. Or well, the used to be most powerful man on Earth. Oof. There's still a normal side of Twitter with memes and fandoms, but the political side has become the new phase of Twitter. Dark Web. Ah, this one you thought was gonna be lower, but behold, it's normie knowledge. The Dark Web is the World Wide Web content that exists on darknets, or overlay networks, that use the internet but require specific software configurations or authorization to access. The Dark Web is not to be confused with the Deep Web, which is a level above the Dark Web. It has become a legend, a place where the most gruesome and criminal activities happen. The Internet of Evildoers. Many people know a few of the different kinds of sites which has been rumored to be found in the Dark Web. You can sell drugs, buy weapons, join cults even. This place is known to be a dark place. People can trace you, people can hack you. Viruses can easily flood onto your computer if you aren't careful. So I wouldn't recommend going down there, but I'm not your boss. Anonymous. Since the internet is a place where you can constantly show who you are and everything you can do or have done can be traced back to you, I can see why people would want to be anonymous. The word anonymous just means to be unknown, but what is meant on the iceberg is more than that. Anonymous is a group, a kind of movement of sorts, which thrives for free speech and is against exploitation and the misuse of the internet. The movement wants the internet to be a free place where people can do as they want. They don't think that there should be borders on the internet. They don't want big tech companies to control who can do what they want, and they don't think people should be punished for having an opinion, no matter what it is. It's a movement which wants the internet to be what has always been, a space, not some place where influence means power. The Logan Paul Suicide Forest Incident. This is a popular occurrence/incident which happened back in December 31st, 2017. Logan Paul uploaded a vlog on his vlogging channel where he went out to the suicide forest in Japan, which is known to be a place where many people seek to end their own life. Logan, as many others have done, went to the forest to see it in person. What he did not expect was to actually find a person hanging from the trees. What he then did afterwards sparked a huge controversy and made many people question the safety of YouTube. When finding the body, he uploaded the video to YouTube knowing well that the body would be seen to millions of people. This turned into chaos and it will not be forgotten just generally. It has already become internet history. Even though the result of the incident is over and Logan has changed his ways, the result is still set in stone. Jacksepticeye. Sean William McLaughlin, better known as Jacksepticeye, is a well-known YouTuber with 26.2 subscribers. Sean's story, a bit like PewDiePie's, is a story which could remind many of a success story. Sean was raised as an average boy from Ireland who started recording YouTube videos during his days in college, back in 2012. He recorded just whatever he wanted to and slowly began to gain a following. When he got a shout from PewDiePie, that was when it went wild. He began quickly to spike in popularity and quickly became a well-known face to many. He has since collabed with many YouTubers he used to look up to as a fan. 4chan. 4chan is a popular message board on the internet. There are two things that differs 4chan from any other regular message boards on the internet. One, it is completely anonymous. None can see who you are and none can really trace you. Well, they can, but they don't really do that. This opens up for a lot of freedom, as people can no longer be afraid to be seen as some kind of monster when they post something. 2. 4chan is known to not give a single fuck. So many mysteries, trends and chaotic events are known to have been created in this place. More specifically, on the infamous Political Incorrect board. One of the classics might be Ball for Beeper, which was created on this place. Even though some might dislike 4chan, it is mostly just a place for people to talk about what they want to without being judged for who they are. Steam. Steam is a program developed by Valve Corporation which is used to play many different types of games. Since Steam was created by Valve, it has a lot of Valve classics on it, like Half-Life, Counter-Strike and Team Fortress. Yet it is also a place where you can find many other famous games not made by Valve themselves. It is known to be a place where you can publish your games to a wider audience. It is the place to go when searching for a new game to buy. Lavender Town Syndrome. Lavender Town Syndrome is another tale from the lands of the internet. I guess it can be characterized as a creepypasta, but I would say it's more of a plain old legend. Lavender Town is a town you can visit in the game Pokemon Red and Blue. The town itself is supposed to be the creepy place of the game with a giant cemetery tower right next to the town. Lavender Town Syndrome, however, is what the town is most known for. Legends say that the music which follows when you enter into the town is haunted. It is said that the original Japanese version of the song has led many kids to become so depressed that a few has ended their own life, just because of the pure sadness that followed this place. Lavender Town has actually a lot of creepy legends fit to it, like the Ghost Hand, Buried Alive and the Dead Radicate. But are they real? That's up for you to decide. They aren't, but it's up for you still. Polybius. Polybius was a strange and weird arcade machine which could be found around America. The arcade itself showed up seemingly out of nowhere. The arcade was a black box with blue stripes on it. The game had shining shapes and colors, and some say that men in black came frequently and studied these machines. The arcade became clouded in mystery and conspiracy as two kids supposedly disappeared after playing the game. Another kid claimed that he was abducted after playing the game, where he had mind-altering side effects. There's many movies and series inspired by these events, and even a conspiracy saying it was inspired by MK Ultra. But nothing major was really discovered surrounding these mysteries. Reddit. Smells like a virgin in here. Reddit is another popular social media, news-giving, content rating site on the internet. Unlike many other medias, this place is not centered on the person, but on the subjects. Reddit is filled with what is known as subreddits, which is a site of Reddit where a certain subject like a show, a game, a fandom, an idea, or politics are discussed by those who are interested in it. You know, now that I said it out loud, that just sounds like an echo chamber actually. It's a place perfect for introverts, since everyone wants to post something on the internet and be themselves, but a lot of people doesn't want the attention that it may give, making Reddit the perfect place to show your ideas. Reddit can be described as the social media for those who hate social media. YouTube poop. YouTube poop is an old type of video where you would heavily edit a certain clip from a known media in hopes of achieving, what's it called again? Oh yeah, comedy. Yeah, so I'm not really used to using comedy, so yeah. Even though these types of videos might not sound that funny to modern standards, some may say that it was the shit or poop back in the day. There were nothing more than videos edited in a funny way where we would constantly repeat a certain phrase or a 2-second clip, but it was glorious. Simple, yet perfect. These have died out today, and if they are still being made, they aren't very popular like they were back in the 10s. Harambe. Long blessed be the Lord, long live his reign. Long shall he be known, for he is Harambe. Harambe was a silverback gorilla that used to live in Cincinnati Zoo until his quick death 28th of May 2016. On that day, a little boy, unknown by his mother, climbed into the gorilla's nest where he fell down. Here Harambe quickly went over to the boy and dragged him around and looked fascinatingly at him. The zookeepers, which were scared for the child's life, saw no option but to shoot Harambe. An outcry came from the public as they thought the shooting was uncalled for. But still, the world held its breath. Another gorilla got killed. Except the internet, which didn't think we should cry because it was over, but be joyous of what he was. They praised him, they memed him, and they blessed him. He knew many things, he was many things, but he will always be remembered. And missed. Dicks out. Country balls. Country balls, also known as Poland ball, is a type of webcomic where it would depict a certain nation as balls. Where it would make comedic comics about history, politics, culture, and that whole bundle. They're an easy way of poking fun at nations around the world, both your home one and others in the world. I myself have even made one back in the day, but nothing more came of it. Yeah, I got access to the subreddit, what up? Even though it's an easy way of showing a joke, there's a lot of small rules which must be kept. For example, no mouth, white eyes, America has sunglasses, Israel's a fox, they don't trust Germany, Norway is rich, Greece is poor. Ben Drown. Another video game creepypasta. Ben Drown was a popular creepypasta back in the day, which was formed around the game Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. Ben Drown himself is a creepy, stiff figure of Link, eerily looking at the player, sometimes with black, bloody eyes. He's also known to teleport around, which is his main form of movement, I guess. The figure itself isn't that scary, it's more the backstory that's kinda scary. The original story of Ben Drown, short and sweet, was that a guy bought a copy of Majora's Mask from a creep. When he went home to play it, there was already a file named Ben. The guy didn't mind and just played as normally, but all of a sudden things began to become weird. Glitches, twitching, and weird sounds, and at one point it looked like the game was corrupt, and then he showed up. The statue kept following him and slowly began to talk. It talked about a kid named Ben, a kid that drowned, so Ben drowned. He now haunts the game, and that's the story. SmileDog.jpg. SmileDog.jpg, SmilingDog, Smile.jpg, or any other variant of that name, is another creepypasta from the golden days of creepypastas. Smile is a picture of a demonic-looking Siberian husky just smiling at you, in many different ways actually. The story behind it is simple, and honestly a bit bland. This is an image which just randomly appeared one day. The picture, just like the dog itself, is actually possessed by a demon which will kill you if you don't repost the image. So it was more or less a guy scaring people into sharing his image. What I find most interesting about this image is that it's not that weird, yet still so creepy. It's just a dog with a weird smile. And that's creepy enough. SCP Foundation. The SCP Foundation, SCP stands for Secure, Contain and Protect, is a fictional foundation that has become quite popular on the internet. The SCP Foundation finds and contains what are known as SCPs, which are monsters of a different type. They are beings and monsters that are out of this world, which possesses unknown superpowers and abilities. Most of these have certain themes around them. Some of the most known SCPs would be SCP-049, SCP-173, and SCP-096. They have real names, I'm just gonna call them by the numbers. The SCP Foundation has become quite the phenomenon, starting out as a website where it would share your SCPs and ideas, and has grown into a web-known idea, and has even gotten its own game. I Feel Fantastic. I Feel Fantastic is the first unknown and unsettling mystery from the internet on this list. While creepypastas were scary, they were nothing more than horror stories. This, however, is unknown territory. The video consists of nothing more than a 3-minute long clip of an electric doll singing I Feel Fantastic, while there's some weird shots here and there. The description, however, is the Greek myth of Pygmalion, which is a story about a god who thinks that no woman on earth is beautiful enough for him, so he makes his own perfect statue. The lack of backstory and explanation to why someone would film that and then just upload it without context have left many people scratching their heads. There are countless of ideas and theories about this video, all from it being a serial killer trying to taunt us, to it being some kind of kink. 2 Girls, 1 Cup. Ah, this one is old. 2 Girls, 1 Cup is a pornographic film which depicts 2 girls shitting and pissing on each other, or in a cup. I think, at least. I never really saw the movie, even though my friends constantly tried to force it in my face back in school. That's right, I never saw it. I'm one of the cool kids. This is of course some kind of weird kink, which seems disgusting to all those who didn't expect it to be a kink. And that is what most people didn't. This was a huge thing back in the day. Even my parents talked about it. But I would say that it was huge for another reason, other than shit and cups. I would say that this was the first time people experienced the abundance of things which are so weird that you would never see them in the real life. This was the first time people really began to realize that the internet is fucking weird. Elsagate. Elsagate is a term used with abundance of weird and non-child friendly videos on both YouTube and YouTube Kids, which would be insane to show to children. These would be things like Elsa cutting off her own tongue, Mickey's child dies in a house fire, Spider-Man impregnates Elsa, and much more. These unsettling themes could be found in videos meant for kids, even though the content of the video clearly wasn't. This started a whole debate surrounding the theme, is our children really safe on the internet? Also, YouTube themselves stepped in for once and made a lot of regulations. Obey the Walrus. Obey the Walrus, a lot like I Feel Fantastic, is another one of those weird unexplained videos that just kind of floats around the internet. The main thing about the video is the weird, almost crippled-like woman who is seen and walking around. The backstory behind this video is that an actual cult called The Walrus or La Morsa made this video. All who see it will have bad luck and all that usual stuff, you know. Unlike I Feel Fantastic, this video can be explained a bit better. The woman we see is Joanie Baima. Baima? The fuck are these names? Who calls herself Goddess Bunny. She got this shape because of the polio disease she got as a kid. She has nothing really to do with the cult or the video at all, actually. It's just made to scare people, and that's all. Nico Nico Doga. Nico Nico Doga is a Japanese video and image sharing site which is only in Japanese. It is filled with the things you would expect from a Japanese sharing site, like anime, some more anime, and things from more anime, and then a whole lot more of anime. Nico Nico differs from normal video sharing sites like YouTube with the ability to post comments on the video while the video is playing. In Japanese though, but still. This gives a feeling of a close community since the videos can be so heavily influenced by every user on the site. While it may not be the most popular site in the West, since we can't speak Japanese, it's very popular in Japan. Bilibili. Bilibili is, what I've heard at least, a Chinese version of YouTube. And just like everything in China, it's a watered down version of what we have in the West. You see, in China they don't have YouTube because of freedom, so they have Bilibili. It's just a Chinese YouTube site where you can't say things like Taiwan or Uzbekistan. It's not really popular here in the West because you can't use it over here, because if you could, it would ruin the whole plan of it. Anti-piracy screens. When you want to play a game, you would usually just buy the game or borrow it, since that's the only real way to get a game, unless you're a criminal. Online piracy is the act of digitally downloading a game or a part of a game without permission from the authority. Even though the game would be free, it's still highly illegal because you just stole something. It's just straight up robbery. To prevent this, or at least make sure that people knew they were playing a pirated game, they made anti-piracy screens. These screens would pop up if the game realized that it has been stolen. Usually it's just the main character from the game being sad or disappointed, with the text that says, "This is pirated, feel bad." One of my favorites is the Super Mario Party DS one. They just get sent to fucking jail with the text, "Piracy is no party." Of course, people make some fake creepypasta ones here and there, but they aren't real. They're cool, but they aren't real. Live League. Live League is a video sharing site on the internet which is semi-rare. You only really know of this place if you're fucked in the head or you have been sent something from someone who was fucked in the head. If you don't know what this is, please turn around and keep your innocence. Live League, unlike other video sharing sites, does not have any boundaries. It doesn't matter how gruesome it is, it's allowed. People being chopped up, soldiers getting killed in gory ways, or open eye surgery. Yeah, I've seen a few of those. Usually if a link sends you to Live League, it's not those free V-Bucks you were looking for, kid. Twitch Plays Pokemon. Twitch Plays Pokemon is an actual social experiment on the streaming site Twitch. The experiment is that instead of a single player controlling the character through the game, it is a Twitch chat who controls it through the chat. Not one at a time, but everyone at the same time. The original game of Twitch Plays Pokemon was the classic Pokemon Red for the Game Boy. It ultimately ended in victory for the crowd as they beat the game thanks to the Chosen 6. Momo Challenge. Momo is an internet legend back in the days of 2018. And this challenge consisted of you sending a text to Momo who would send back some dangerous challenge to do. These could be anything from attacking people, attacking yourself, or even just straight up killing yourself. Momo herself was only seen in a profile picture, which was this thing. This was, of course, nothing more than a hoax. The challenge was nothing more than a prank and was never real. Momo wasn't real, the profile picture was some weird half-human, half-bird sculpture in Asia, and none ended up actually killing themselves because someone told them to. There was a lot of tension around this, and it even went on TV a few times. The Pirate's Bay. The Pirate Bay allows visitors to search, download, and contribute magnet links and torrent files, which facilitate peer-to-peer file sharing among users of the BitTorrent protocol. In more normal words, it's a place where you can post stolen and pirated things. It is the most known place for watching things that you usually wouldn't be able to. Local 58. Local 58 is another creepypasta and also a web series which can be found on YouTube. The web series is about a TV channel named Local 58, which is constantly hijacked by weirdos who send surreal imagery and videos on. The whole web series is actually just one giant surreal experience. It doesn't really have a solid script or plot, so each video is just focused on trying to scare the viewer. It does have some symbolism and constant reference to the moon, but that's just the theme, I guess. Username 666. Username 666 is an old creepypasta about the old days of YouTube, and I mean the old days. Remember to rate 5 stars. It's basically about a user called Nana trying to find another user named plainly 666. When there is no real satisfying result, she refreshes the page over and over again until the whole site becomes demonic. If you search for 666 now, you aren't gonna find anything at all. It actually got so popular that she made a sequel. The story itself has made a lot of theories, one being that user 666 was actually a real YouTube page, which, when opened, would give you a virus that turned all your symbols into sixes. Fun. Blank Room Soup. Blank Room Soup is not a creepy corner of the internet. This is, however, both a mysterious video, a creepypasta, and an internet legend all at once. The video is a short and mysterious one. It depicts a man eating some kind of soup while two dolls walk closer to him. He slowly begins to cry while the dolls comfort him. There is a lot of theories behind this one, all from it being a killer taunting their victim, a man being force-fed to eat human soup. This, like many other mysteries on the internet, is no mystery at all. These dolls were nothing more than characters from a play which got stolen. The video is a thief's way of taunting the owner of the suits. The man crying is most likely supposed to be a representation of the owner of the costumes. But the soup is a weird addition, I would say. Blue waffles. Blue waffles is a very serious disease. Nah, it's not. It's just a way of tricking people into looking at disinfected vaginas. Blue waffles was one of those things you would trick your friends into watching, making them think it was something cool, but in reality, it would be nothing more than a mess. A bit like Two Girls, One Cup. It was way popular back in 2008. The Christchurch shooting. So, if you've never forgotten it, back in March of 2019, an Australian man opened fire on two Muslim mosques in the New Zealand city of Christchurch, where 49 Muslims died. The reason why the shooter is on the Internet Iceberg is because of his close ties to many corners of the internet. He livestreamed his shootings to Facebook, and he played popular meme songs in his car, like Remove Kebab and one of PewDiePie's songs. Other than that, there isn't really that much more to talk about. Some have dubbed him the murderer shaped by the internet. Lemon Party. Lemon Party is a thing you should almost look up yourself. Go on, do it. Did you do it? Well, then you clearly haven't learned anything from this video. Yeah, lemon pie is another one of those terms which you can use to trick your pals into searching for. Well, you could back in 2008, but still. Lemon party was supposed to be a different kind of party, you know? But it's just a word for old guys fucking. 112 Dirtbag. 112 Dirtbag is the name of a YouTuber with only one important video. It is, however, one of the more dark videos on the internet. Not that much because of what's in the video itself, but because of the backstory of it. On February 6, 2004, Maura Murray went on a drive through New Hampshire when her car crashed. Even though the car was found, Maura was never seen again. Countless investigations and searches have followed this event, but nothing has really come of it. Nothing came up, and nothing has come up for almost 17 years. She vanished into thin air. On the 8th-year anniversary of its appearance, a video called Happy Anniversary was uploaded to YouTube by the user 112Dirtbag. The video was nothing more but an old man laughing, with a wink at the end and a title. What's important to note is that the channel has some ties with her disappearance. Maura disappeared on Route 112, and the father of Maura has called the abductor a dirtbag several times in their interviews. Is this the abductor haunting the world, or is just an insane man making some dark jokes? Just like Maura's disappearance, this is probably gonna be a mystery forever. WebDriver Torso. WebDriver Torso is an interesting channel on YouTube which used to be clouded in mystery. The channel today has stopped working as it used to, but what it once did was kind of extraordinary. It would post frequent clips of blue and red boxes flashing from shape to shape, while a weird beeping noise could be heard in the background, changing in pitch just like the shape would flash. These videos were spammed out, some being 10 seconds long while others would last hours, all being uploaded with almost no time in between. It used to be a mystery, but Google themselves went out of their way, saying that it was a way of testing YouTube's graphics and volume quality. This used to be clouded in mysteries, with a lot of theories behind it, like some saying it was a result of a madman, while others would say that it was aliens. Alan Tutorial. Alan Tutorial is a web series on YouTube and Twitter made by Alan Resnick. The web series itself is supposed to depict a young man with a possible autism who is obsessed with making YouTube tutorials. He isn't very good at them though. There are things like how to lift a chair and stuff like that. Eventually he ends up running away from the home, and then, well, that would be spoilers, but I would recommend watching it actually. It's pretty good. Most people who stumble upon this without knowing it was a series or fake got pretty spooked. Some people thought that the events in the videos were real and it was all happening. Some more intelligent people say, oh yeah, how did he upload that while he's so long away from home? It definitely became popular, with the channel getting 184,000 subscribers and the most popular video having 2.5 million views. AOL. AOL Inc. is an American online business. That's also what it stands for, America Online. AOL was one of the first to provide internet back in the 1990s. This had all you needed: email, a web portal, a message provider, and more. But probably the best and most memorable thing provided was the dial-up. See, that is something I am too young to remember. MSN. MSN, or Microsoft Network, is a web portal. It is a web browser which many have installed as their primary search browser, even though they only use it to get Google. And that's it, it's just a web browser which people use. Battle of Dream Island. Battle of Dream Island is a web series created by Jack and Jellyfeet on YouTube. It revolves around a bunch of anthropomorphic objects who are competing in a competition to win a grand prize of Dream Island, a luxurious island. It's a show that also aired on Cartoon Network, but was most known on YouTube. No, I don't know why it's on here. It doesn't have any deep lore, it just kind of came on here. This man. Have you seen this man? In your dreams, that is? I haven't, but apparently a lot of people have. This was a huge phenomenon which started back in 2006. It basically started with some people realizing that they had seen the same person in their dreams before. As they began to ask other people about it, it turned out a lot of people actually have seen that man in their dreams. This, of course, spread like wildfire on the internet, with a bunch of people saying that they've seen the same man in their dreams. Most cases didn't perceive him as evil or even scary, but just as a guy who was in your dreams. And of course, a lot of theories have been risen about this man. Some say that he is what the mind perceives as the average man, some say he's a demon, some say he's a man trapped in the dream world for some reason. Others even say that he's God. I mean, sure. This is a mystery which have not been solved yet, and probably never will be. Is this man truly something unusual, or is he just nothing special at all? Sad Satan. Sad Satan is a PC game built with the Terror engine, cool name, which first appeared on the YouTube channel Obscure Horror Corner on June 25th, 2015. This game is a long story. It's basically being a YouTuber got the game from an anonymous subscriber who said it was from the deep web. And from that day forward, a lot of speculation happened. Some people did not trust the game because of rumors of it having child pornography, intense gore, and viruses that would damage the computer so much it would not even work. We do know for a fact that it can destroy a computer, as some guy recorded it being destroyed, basically. This was nothing more than a copy of the actual game, and it was just a virus, I guess. Even today, this place is a weird one. The YouTube channel was abandoned, some rumors were not explained, and we haven't even talked about the game itself yet. Chris Chan.
Every page, every word on the discussion page is a crook.
Oh yeah, this is a classic. Chris Weston Chandler, better known as Chris Chan, is an internet legend. You might have heard of him since he has become quite popular with time. He aged like a fine wine. Chris Chan is known for being a weird, disillusioned man-child who is known for his comic, I guess you'll call it, called Sonic Chew, which is just a combination of Sonic and Pikachu. That's it. He made a medallion out of it, which he wears proudly. Well, until it got destroyed, but I guess he made another one. The comics are nothing more than childlike drawings and images of Sonic Chew and Chris himself. His biggest goal in life is to get a girlfriend. And even though I can see where it's coming from, he gets a little too intense. He would do anything to get a girlfriend. Luckily for him and his ignorance and low IQ, he could get one. For free, which were all scams. Poor guy. He also did have a lady friend which he fancied until she got creeped out and left, and then he made a comic of her getting violated or something. There is generally so much to talk about when it comes to this man that I would recommend jumping deeper down to the rabbit hole. I would love to do it myself, but it's already getting way too long. Luckily for us, Chris Chan is known to be the most documented man in history, so you just go right ahead and find something out. Gateway of the Mind. This is a less known creepypasta, but still a very scary one. This story is about how a group of scientists wanted to communicate with God. They had a theory that the 5 senses were nothing more than the feelings that clouded the direct passage to God. In other words, if you remove the 5 senses, you could talk to God. The scientists did find an old man who wanted to volunteer to the experiment, since he had nothing more to live for. They took away all his senses through surgery, basically leaving him alone with his thoughts as the outside world became closed off to him. He could still communicate through mumbling, since he could still move his muscles, but his taste, smell, eyesight, hearing, and sense of touch was removed. The man slowly began speaking to the dead, being able to directly communicate with his dead spouse and some of the scientists' dead family members. After slowly going mad for weeks with threats from the dead and wanting to kill himself, he went limp, and he was still alive. After about a month of the experiment, the man turned toward the scientist, looked him directly in the eyes and said, "I have spoken with God and he has abandoned us." He died right after. Monkey hate. Monkey hate is a weird thing that has happened on YouTube a few times. On YouTube, there are playlists of monkeys just playing around, swinging from rope to rope, being monkeys. The comments, however, are unexpected and slightly horrifying. The comment section is filled with hundreds of people talking about how they want to kill those monkeys and hurt them and torture them. Should have wanted to swing them by the tail and violate them. This is a weirdly unexpected thing coming from people. I mean, you wouldn't think people just hated monkeys all of a sudden, but apparently everyone does. Iomando.com. So Iomando is a weird one. It's not really something deep or creepy, it's just a platform that grants users access to electronic devices like smart fridges or computers through your phone. Not very deep, but it's there. Logo editing. So this one confused me a bit since it's just editing logos. But the maker of the iceberg, of course, knew what it was. He said the following. There is this obscure community on YouTube that like to edit logos you would see before movies or TV shows. Some even being obsessed with the logos. Hanging Munchkin footage. The Hanging Munchkin is an urban legend from the internet. It talks about how there can be seen a hanging dwarf at the end of the Wizard of Oz movie. When the characters walk down the yellow path, what seems to be a hanging munchkin can be seen in the background. A lot of people wondering what this is, if it was a real prop or an actual munchkin or an actor who died. Many have been speculating about how it's fake or true, and it has divided many people. Clearly, the duality of man. The truth is that it's fake. Can you believe it? They obviously didn't leave a clip with a dead actor in it in the film. I mean, mistakes happen, but that does not happen. Sam Peppers. Sam Pepper was a popular YouTuber back in the days, known for his prank videos, which I guess were pranks, just very extreme ones at that. They were more or less videos where he would harass people on the street and just say, "It's a prank, bro." Comedy back in 2016. Probably his most controversial video was Kidnapping and Killing My Best Friend video, where he kidnapped his best friend, faked a hostage scene, and finally acted like they were being killed in front of his best friend. It's a prank. He got a lot of backlash from his videos, and he did do an actual apology, and I guess it ended in a kind of happy ending. Gamergate. Gamergate was, or I guess is, a controversy that started all the way back in 2014. The whole of Gamergate was a critique against gamer culture, in that it was related to hatred of women and sexism. This went in a weird way, where there would be people who said that gamers generally were bad against women, and then people who were gamers said that they didn't really have anything against women. Even though there were and still are a lot of people who both hate women and are gamers, there's still a lot of them that aren't. I mean, gaming is a giant hobby, so call them all out because some are sexist is kind of weird. And it definitely was. But at the very least, we got bully hunters out of it. Now that is what it's all about. Roro-chan. Roro-chan 1999 was a 14-year-old Japanese livestream and content creator on Nico Nico who was obsessed with being popular. She wanted to be a legend in her own words. She wasn't very popular through her career and usually just played piano and sung along on some songs which didn't gain that many views. She eventually got so desperate for views which led to her performing loads of dangerous stunts like running through traffic. She was so desperate that it led to her fate. On November 24th, 2013, she went out on a balcony in hopes of becoming a legend. With a faint "I'm scared," she jumped off the building, camera in hand. She fell to her death. This began to gain popularity back in 2019 and 2020, where her story got told. So in a way, it actually worked. Chip-chan Pelochin Entertainment. Chip-chan is a weird and mysterious person. Not only is her life clouded in mystery, but so is her backstory and popularity. Chip-chan has said herself that she has been stalked by a corrupt police officer named simply P. She sleeps for about 20 hours a day and only leaves her home to get supplies and join protesters. Apparently she records herself while she sleeps, since she doesn't know what happens and is afraid that P is stalking and doing things to her. Now, I would say that she's just paranoid, but we don't even know that about her. She is clouded in mystery. Brian Peppers. Brian Peppers is a weird looking sex offender from Ohio. And that's not me being mean, that's what he's known to be. Brian Peppers has an apparent genetic disability which has led to his weird looks, which has made him popular. He became a meme around 2005, where people would use him as a punchline, mostly calling him a sex god. My Little Pony cum jar. Did I just say that? Do I even want to research this? Well, I guess I have to. Oh. I'm gonna fucking vomit. Oh my god. So apparently some guy on 4chan, because of course it's 4chan, made himself a challenge. He was challenged by himself to fill a jar with a My Little Pony in it with as much cum as possible. Safe to say, from a little research that I did, because why would I research that? The guy actually did it. The madman has done it. I hate everything now. Lasagna Cat. Lasagna Cat is another web series on YouTube which started back in 2007 and ended in 2017. It was depicting a live-action version of Garfield. The first few episodes are pretty normal with it just being a Garfield parody, but it eventually turns into a horror. But a comedic horror. It was a part of that whole weird Garfield joke trend where people would make fun of Garfield's dry humor, which has gone on since Garfield first came out, because the humor is dry. Blue Whale Challenge. The Blue Whale Challenge is basically the Momo Challenge, but a Russian. The challenge itself was just a bunch of smaller challenges which should be completed in a span of 50 days. They would get harder and harder until self-harm was introduced, and then finally you would commit suicide. This swept over Russia in 2016, with people linking the challenge to many teen suicides. This was nothing more than a myth, and no actual suicides have been connected with the challenge. It became quite the phenomenon in many Eastern countries, but it never really went anywhere else. Sally Acorn Sex Doll. So the Sally Acorn Sex Doll was a sex doll someone made of the Sonic character Sally Acorn. It was actually made with great detail and there was a lot of effort that was put into it, which I don't know if it's better or worse. Even though making a real life sized sex doll of a Sonic character is pretty weird, it becomes weirder, because of course it does. Of course it does. The worst thing about this doll is that the skeleton of the doll was rumored to be a real skeleton. A real human skeleton. Now that right there is a fate worse than hell. Some say it's real, some say it's fake, but I'm 100% convinced that it's pure degeneracy. 1444. 1444 is a cursed video that can be found on YouTube, Twitter, Vimeo, TikTok, and more. The video is only 17 seconds long and depicts a Russian man committing suicide or blowing his own head off with a shotgun. Some took it as a challenge to watch the video all the way through, while some just shared the video around the web because why not? Yeah, it's nothing more than a man committing suicide. Lovely. Birth in nature, natural birth. Generally, natural birth is just human birth without any type of pain relief or medication, not even a doctor. It's just natural labor and pain, baby. However, what this iceberg refers to is a video on YouTube of a woman just giving birth in nature. So, just a person giving birth in a stream on YouTube with 90 million views. Why the fuck does it have 90 million views? Why did 90 million people watch that? And who? I wouldn't know anyone who'd watch that. Why would you watch that? Camera heads. Camera heads is not only a creepypasta, it's a lost creepypasta. And that makes it even more scary. Camerahead is generally a story about how a man who descends into madness after he not only discovers, but kills a previously unknown creature known as the Cameraheads. He finds a lost bag in nature which was filled with stuff about them like a camera, and some sketches, and some videos, and he later gets stalked by them because he found them. He uploaded to 4chan where the story is now. Cameraheads are also linked with many things like alien sightings and the likes. So if you want to research some bullshit, here's your chance. The Red Room. Red Rooms are alleged sites which can be found on the dark web. These sites are made only for live streams, but have a public chat as well. However, it's not Pokemon they're streaming. In these rooms, people get tortured and brutalized, while the people watch on, commenting on how he should be whipped, sliced, and cut. These people being killed, more or less, could be anything from kidnapping victims, POWs from the Middle East, or even volunteers, although most people doubt most of them are volunteers. Red Rooms are a weird phenomenon which people aren't really sure if they're real. You don't want to share it if you've been a part of one, and you don't want to check it out for yourself. Jonathan Galindo. Jonathan Galindo, also known as Cursed Goofy, is a man with a weird-looking goofy face mask. Galindo is another blue whale-like challenge, which supposedly leads to suicide. This one is from 2019 and 2020 though. It surfaced on Twitter and TikTok, but it didn't go further than that. However, teens are still keeping this challenge alive with fake accounts offering to play the game. This usually gets met with memes in Russian. 4chan found a terrorist base. So, some members on the political incorrect board on 4chan has for a long time tried to fight ISIS in Syria. Well, good for them, but how? Generally, people dig down on maps and other anonymous sources. Some look at ISIS propaganda videos and the like to find resemblance between the many pictures and footages to find a link. They then pass the info onto the Russian government, which then tries to attack them. The thing is that the Russians already knew they were there, so 4chan just pressured them into firing the missile. But it worked. 4chan is taking down terrorists. Looks like 4chan isn't that bad after all. The guy who married Twilight Sparkle. When people say that people on the internet are loners, they usually don't know what they're talking about. But when it comes to this guy, then they're right. My god, they are right. Actually, I think this is the guy they're thinking of when they say that. So, some extreme loner on the internet decided to marry Twilight Sparkle, which for you uncultured people are a fucking pony. This motherfucker just married a fucking plushie of a horse, with a ring and everything. Why? Nick Bates. If you thought that people before were weird, get ready and embrace yourselves. Nick Bates was an alleged pedophile and a grown man-child with rotten teeth. My god, in the British looks good compared to that. Who got locked up in 2016 after having sexual intercourse and had a sexual chat with his little sister. Not only with that, but he wasn't even trying to hide it. In his own words, he thought that pedophilia should be legal and that it was dumb that people got arrested for it. He thought that having sex with kids should be legal. But wait, as long as they consented. What a gentleman. We don't really know what has happened to him since, but he should be out of prison at this point. He most likely went to hiding as he finally realized what a moron he was. Pamperchu. Christ, the degenerates keep coming. Pamperchu is a 32-year-old man who had a kink with diapers, pacifiers, and kids. Yeah, he's also a self-admitted pedophile. He's rumored to find used diapers in the trash, which he then microwaves and wears them, or squeezes them for pleasure. He has a daddy which acts like his dad for some kind of pleasure, I guess. He used to be a semi-normal man who enjoyed electronics, but he ended up drawing pictures of Pikachu with diapers on him. He doesn't show any type of disability, so I guess he's just a full-on degenerate. My god. He also has a YouTube channel where you can see that he lives in absolute filth, he has a diaper collection, and just layers and layers of weird shit. Goat Worshipper. Goat worship is generally a satanic ritual where people pray to a half-goat, half-humanoid creature in hopes of pleasing the Dark Lord. But that is not what this is on the iceberg chart. It gets darker than that. Randy Prozac is a performance artist who has made a lot of dark art in his life. His masterpiece, however, was Goat Worship, a series of videos depicting experiments on mentally ill people. He had a whole series of videos where he would make nonsensical surreal videos, all including some mentally ill, where they would do some weird things. Today, only one of these videos still exists since the others got deleted. This was of course not real. It was just a bunch of actors and artists making some art. But the insane brain of Randy Prozac is 100% real. On the internet, Randy's many other projects can be found, like animated shorts, music videos, all with a disturbing, surreal, and for some reason, ultra conservative feel. He has done a lot of things, and should still be making projects to this day. Satan's Sphinx. That Sphinx is a lost footage video and urban legend. It is said the content of the film was hidden away by the US government because it was too disturbing, even though it can be found on YouTube. It just shows weird pictures, demonic worship, weird wares, and generally just a bunch of weird, unexplanatory shit. This thing is kind of overhyped. Compared to the other cursed bastards on this list, it's not even that bad actually. Eratus. Eratus is a weird and mysterious entity on the internet. It is said that it's a computer algorithm which can be used to remove copyright infringement and can be used as a way of mass surveillance. It is also said that any company with Eratus in its search history will get locked down. Any mention of it should get you traced and destroyed apparently. This is, again, fake. It is a conspiracy theory and an alternate reality game. Nothing more. But it does have a clear picture. ToddlerCon. The final act of degeneracy. ToddlerCon is the combination of toddlers and lolicons. So yeah, fat worthy babies. Of course, toddlers are nothing more than babies that are around 1 to 3 years old, while lollies are anime girls, usually very young at that, who are shown in a sexual manner. It's pretty clear that there are a bunch of pedos on the internet and even more degeneracy, but this is way beyond anything I had ever expected. Hans, get the Gottverdammt Flammenwaffe. I want to burn this. Well, that only took about forever. Well, there you have it. The iceberg chart done and finished. It had scary things, disturbing things, degeneracy, and all three things at once. You most likely knew beforehand that the internet was a weird place, but now that you've seen it, it kinda feels weird. But again, I wanna give a huge thanks to you/TheBestYTPer for making this iceberg. It has a lot of good information on it, the placing was a bit weird, but overall, it was very good. Well, that was all. If you have any critiques or ideas, leave them down in the comments below. Well, see ya.